Once upon a very sunny Tuesday in the little village of Tiddleton-on-Moss, a girl named Molly Tinker had the most unusual sort of luck. Molly was a teen, curious as a kitten, and terribly fond of exploring places she wasn't exactly supposed to. She lived with her granny in a wobbly cottage that smelled of jam tarts and old books. Her best friend, apart from Granny, was a crow called Pickle. Now, Pickle wasn't just any crow. He wore a tiny red button tied to his leg with golden thread. He said it was lucky. Had a crooked feather on his head that always stuck up like a question mark, and could say exactly 7 words of English. Unfortunately, he rarely used them in the right order. "Shiny, mine, where, no, trouble, quick, biscuits," were his favorite words. Pickle was nosy, clever, and completely loyal to Molly. He liked to peck the hands of people he didn't trust, often stole shiny buttons from laundry lines, and had a habit of eavesdropping on squirrels. One morning, while Molly was exploring the woods behind Granny Tinker's cottage, Pickle swooped down from a tree and landed on her shoulder.
"Trouble! Shiny, quick!"
Oh, hush, there's no trouble here.
But as it turns out, there was. Because under an old, mossy tree stump, Molly found a pair of shoes. Not just any shoes. These were emerald green with golden buckles and laces that tied themselves into perfect bows. They sparkled ever so slightly, even in the shade.
Well, aren't you lovely?
Molly whispered, slipping them on. The moment her feet touched the insides, the shoes gave a tingle. Then they wiggled. Then they whooshed. Whoosh! Molly was swept off the ground, zipping through the air like a firework with feathers. She soared above the village clock tower, over Mrs. Bumble's bakery, and around the bell of St. Snapdragon's church. Twice. The shoes swooped and danced in the sky, twirling Molly through clouds and birds and one rather surprised hot air balloonist. Then they gently plopped her back on the forest floor.
Again.
Pickle squawked, hopping in circles. But just as Molly was about to take off once more, the sky rumbled with thunder, and a thick purple mist slithered between the trees. Out of it stepped a most peculiar woman. She wore a crooked black hat with a live toad napping on top. Her cloak was made of bat wings, and she carried a handbag that looked suspiciously like it used to bark.
"You've got my shoes.
Are they yours?
I'm Twindle the witch. Those shoes are spelled for sky running, puddle skipping, and market cheating. You little mop nose are in dreadful trouble."
"Shiny, no trouble."
Pickle warned, pecking nervously at Molly's sleeve. Before Molly could blink, the shoes whooshed away again, with her still in them. They carried her deep into the forest of Mostly Night, past the goblin grocer's hut, through the marsh of Whispering Socks, and straight into Twindle's cottage. It was not at all cozy. It smelled of beetle soup, the curtains hissed if you touched them, and the furniture growled when you got too close.
"Since you love my shoes so much, you may stay here forever and shine them with your tears."
Pickle, who'd been flying circles above the roof, darted down the chimney with a whoosh of soot and feathers.
"Quick, Granny, fly!"
Go, Pickle, find Granny!
With a flap and a puff, Pickle was gone. Now Pickle might have only known 7 words, but he had an excellent sense of direction and an even better sense of danger. He soared across the treetops like a black dart, dodging broomsticks and storm clouds until he reached Granny Tinker's cottage. He flew straight through the window, knocking over a teacup, and shouted,
"Trouble, Molly Witch, quick!"
Granny Tinker didn't even blink. She grabbed her handbag, a bottle of witch wash, and her best kettle, the one with the hedgehog pattern, and stormed out the door. Back in Twindle's cottage, Molly was trying to distract the witch by pretending to shine the shoes with a mushroom. The door had turned into a giant toad, and the windows had locked themselves with spiderweb chains. Just as Twindle raised her wand to turn Molly into a footstool, the door exploded open. In came Granny Tinker holding the kettle like a sword and the bottle like a grenade.
"Unhand my granddaughter, you batty old bag of beetles."
"You can't stop me with tea."
"This isn't tea. It's witch wash. Removes curses, dark magic, and dreadful shoe odor."
She flung the bottle. It spun in the air and burst over Twindle and the shoes in a puff of silver sparkles. In a flash, the spell broke. The shoes stopped glowing. Twindle turned into a duck.
A very cross duck?
Molly added, watching her waddle around in a huff. Pickle landed on Granny's shoulder with a satisfied squawk.
Biscuits.
Later that evening, Molly gave the shoes back to the duck, who quacked grumpily, and promised never to take things that weren't hers again. From then on, she always carried a tiny bottle of witch wash in her backpack, just in case of magical mischief. As for Pickle, he got a whole jar of biscuits, a brand new shiny button for his leg, and a special medal from Granny that read, "Official Feathered Hero of Tiddleton on Moss." He couldn't read it, of course, but he did say,
Shiny, mine, biscuits.
and so ended Molly's most unusual adventure in the little village of Tiddleton on Moss.